Well, let's get back to the session on the Planetic Media House, creating transformating information. And the next speaker would be Soha J, who's a behavioral trainer, soft skills and happiness coach, and mental health advisor, who is also a counselor. We would like to welcome you here to the Planetic Media House, ma'am.
Thank you so much. First of all, I would like to thank you for giving this opportunity to me. And my greetings to all the viewers and audiences who are actually viewing us. It's so much a pleasure to be connected with all of them here. They are so much. I wish everybody a very, very bright and a beautiful Thursday. And then I would also like to continue saying, I would like to congratulate each and every individual here for being alive and kicking. I would like to also talk about, I would actually like to applaud everybody who's sitting right there fighting this pandemic, talking about for being, so much brave, being responsible and being alert. I think every individual who's sitting here watching us deserves, and applaud, and for probably braving this pandemic, I should actually say, and fighting it out, and still moving and still living and still having that particular life and urge to do something in life. I mean, the people who are live here today, the people who have come here, it's very clearly understood that they have this urge of living a better life, and they have the urge of pushing themselves a little more forward than anybody else, I feel. So yes, thank you so much. So now if I have to talk about this entire thing, because I was just having a word and the discussion with Planodec, um, with so much of time in hand, what is that people have to do? What is that we are actually doing? With so much time in hand, everyone is trying to, adapt to new skills. And, there are so many varies of skills. Like we people, we are coaches, we are mentors, we are going out in the market, we are training people right from the colleges to the corporates, to individuals, counseling people on the mental health, and doing so much in, person. But then this lockdown had actually given us a very new way of looking at life. Instead of crying over what is really happening around, I feel that this has opened opportunities and new doors for all of us as individuals. We started living better in understanding the technology. I mean, we are probably taking up online trainings, we are coming up on webinars, we are having so many opportunities coming through our way. People are calling us and asking us to take up classes online. So it's amazing, and I feel like all these new skills and the CVs are grown as a person now. Number one reason why people are probably failing on their work or dreams was always the lack of time. But I think now we have a lot of time in hand where we can learn, we can upskill ourselves, we can completely be a new version. And we probably blame colleges, we blame the classes not to follow rightly, and the passions and the dreams what we talk about have been disappeared somewhere. But then I think this pandemic has brought it back. Everybody is trying to streamline, everybody is trying to learn something new, everybody is trying to put in so many efforts, and I feel that these efforts are going to make a lot of count here. We have so many things that we keep blaming upon, right from the traffic to the government to their spouses and whatnot. And when we get into this blame game, we try to get out of the situation guilt free. Whenever we are blaming somebody, whenever we are talking about all these situations which we actually had before the close down, before the pandemic, before corona, we always had cried over our lives, even after getting so much in life, so much. Instead of being grateful, we've always been complaining about it. But then right now, it is like a time where we realized what we got in hand, not just to improve, one's life, but to also improve oneself. I feel that as and when we try to get guilt free from any kind of a situation, the only thing we probably do is not achieve our goals. We do not accomplish our dreams, we do not focus on our dreams, and we miss it out so much. But before we delve into such details of what to learn during this particular lockdown, let's first take a look at what is really going to happen and what is going on in our minds and how do we actually go about it. what are our aims and how should we go about our aim and how should we progress in our aim, what is the goal all about and how do we focus on our goals, how do we rejuvenate ourselves, how do we build our relationships. Though we are far away now, we are bothered about our relatives more, we are bothered about our connections more, we are calling them, we are trying to connect with them, trying to understand them, trying to support them, all these while we were not supporting one, though we were always in words, in talking to people and telling that we are there to support you, that we are there for a cause, but the push wasn't given that uh, heavy. But I think now in this pandemic we are pushing each other to grow, helping each other as mankind. We are trying to help living beings around us. So I feel, yeah, it's a moment of being proud rather than and of course upskilling has been a very very big concern for everybody. And I think now this is the right time where we are going to upskill ourselves, and we are actually upskilling ourselves. There's never a bad time to learn anything at all, and neither there is any time for that matter for any age barrier to learn anything. I think your life is all about learning. You keep learning in every mode of your life, every move of your life, every time, uh, you know, God tries to, send you a signal. He's trying to actually tell you something to life, and he's trying to teach you life. He's trying to tell you how you can actually learn your entire life. I think that's an experience by itself. And if you have to talk about, with so much time in our hand and fewer distractions, it was never this easier. But look at the bright side of coronavirus. I should actually tell you, look at the bright side of it. What are we looking at? I mean, when I'm talking about the bright side, is that uh, you can do anything that you want, except that you cannot go out. Anything you want. There are online courses. There is so much of learning around. There is so much of interacting with one another. All your neighbors coming around. There's so much of learning. Every individual has given their inputs now, and we are growing with their inputs. We are growing with helping each other and supporting each other at this point in time. So the whole India is, India INC is right now on a lockdown, and everybody is trying to work from home. So pan India cases have increased, and there is no way that we can venture out or try experimenting, going out and meeting around with people and all. So of course, I think at this point in time, the only learning I would actually talk about is how do you go about and how should you learn. So you need to divide your learnings into three different portions. The first learning would be mindfulness. I very strongly recommend everybody, because I mean, as a mental health advisor right now, I'm receiving a lot of cases where people are completely disturbed staying back home, instead of focusing on certain things where they can actually grow individually and grow intellectually. There are also cases, there are also people who are mentally getting very disturbed staying back at home, because it's not that easy. It's not that easy. We've never stayed back home. 3 months is a very huge time, and I mean, we are still at home and we are still trying to break through. We are still trying to venture out. We are still trying to go out and do something new. So I think there is a lot of concern with regards to this. So I feel that the first thing you need to focus upon is your mindfulness, which is very very important for one person to go ahead and concentrate. And mindfulness is one thing, meditation is the other thing. Easier said than done, I know that. But then I very strongly feel that I should actually say this. I'll tell a small story which I relate to very much. It is also about my personal life, just not about the story. A story of an eagle. Now, I very recently came across this story, and I just had fallen in love with this story. Eagle, when it turns 30 years old, eagle's life is around 70 years, okay? And when it turns 30 years old, eagle's beak actually curves, it bends down. It cannot actually go and attack a prey. So it starts falling sick, it starts feeling weaker, it starts actually to give up, it starts becoming very weak and just falling away, and not that energetic, and it's not able to eat its prey. So it's like really really giving up. But then it has two choices. Now this is for everybody who's watching here. he's it's left with only two choices. Either he has to go through a very very big trauma, that is a trauma of pain, to come back to his life, or to give up and die. Now the choice is in your hands, whether you want to give up or die, or you want to go through a trauma, or want to go through a painful procedure, to painful procedure to probably live your life better. So what it does is, the first thing it does is it tries to break its beak. A very painful procedure. Imagine a simple nail is actually cut through, and it's so painful, right? I mean, we can't take that pain for like few hours or few days at times, but then it's going through that pain through and through until the beak grows back. And then it slowly starts plucking its feathers out, plucking each and every feather out so that it gets a new life. And after a few days, the beak starts growing back. The feather starts coming back. And imagine it starts living its new life. And it can, after that, live up to another 40 years. So, what a way of living life. Every individual here is going through some or the other, concern in life, some or the other pain in life. And I know there are a lot of concerns right now in this pandemic. The payments are actually having issues. People are having issues with the financials, credentials, and so many other things. But I think we as humans have this capacity of not giving up and coming back to life, rejuvenating ourselves in life. So I'm sure that we will get into mindfulness and we will start meditating and living a better life. The first course of life. The second is that you learn hard skills. You develop yourself, grow yourself. How do you develop yourself? There are online courses like, right now we have AI going on, we have cloud computing going on, we have so many other courses which are on technically sound. So I think we can talk about the technicality of it. You can actually grow in these courses, and you can learn about the programming part of it. You can learn something new. You can learn something where you can probably technically also be a very sound person. Like, we were really having trouble getting online, zooming into people and becoming zoomers, and doing something different. All this while we were, as my colleague said, that we are people's person. So it was very difficult to understand the technology, but then now we've become technology savvy. This is a new learning for us. This is an experience again. It's a beautiful experience. And then the third one, I spoke about the first, I spoke about the second, now I'm speaking about the third one. The third one is all about soft skills. All about soft skills. Learn, etiquette, learn grooming yourself, learn new language. There are so many languages which are in the market coming up. Like, you have Spanish, you have French. There are people who also love to learn Urdu or Sanskrit. Apart from foreign languages, you learning your own language, I mean, culture, learning your own culture, you can actually do that. Communication skills have been a barrier to a lot of us. So I think you can also learn communication. So these are the three major areas I would like to cover, in this particular topic. And I think there is so much of learning that you can still continue and keep learning in life. Life is all about learning. Life is all about growing. Life is all about giving. Start giving, start loving each other, start respecting each other. Have that humility in you, because it's very important. And serve. The last part I would like to talk about is serve as much as you can, because it gives you a lot of confidence. It gives you self-worth. It gives you a kind of belonging, that you belong to this earth and this mother earth, and you can do so much for the people around you. So upskilling and upgrading has actually become a new survival era, post pandemic, and this is something which we can actually learn and we can live by. And I end my topic here with the questions welcomed by the participants. Thank you so much.
That was really amazing about you mentioned about life is all about learning. Yes, it's actually, I would like to agree with that, like 101% sure, saying that we learn something new every day. We learn something new each and every day in our life. And the story which you mentioned about that eagle saying that it breaks its leaf. We're all trying to earn a living. We're not trying, we have to adapt ourselves for something which is going to come first rather than getting escape from the moment. I really love those words which you said.
Absolutely.
And how do you address a youth or another normal human being saying that to focus on his goals or aim? Being a soft skill development expert, how do you address him? Uh, how do you like say him to do all this stuff in a good way, say that he will reach out people in a better world?
The first thing I very strongly believe in case you have to have an aim or goal setting, the first thing you need to do is you need to understand what is your goal. You need to understand what is it, list it out. How do you probably focus on your goal or your aim? The first thing you do is you need to write down few things on a list, that I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to become this, I want to become this. And then tick on that one thing where you feel that you can work for free your entire life. That is your goal, that is your aim, that is your dream. And if you are probably on that line, then you need to have a plan of action every single day you wake up. You wake up in the morning and you write down your chores, your daily chores. What is that you're going to do? And then start ticking on it and see how much you're able to achieve. I know it is very difficult, I mean, it's not that easy to just get up one day and feel, okay, fine, I have this goal and I've got to focus on this goal and my aim is this, because it can keep changing. When I was growing, I mean, as a kid, I always wanted to marry. I never wanted to do anything else. Yeah, because I thought, in marriage, you would get so many gifts like you get on birthdays, and that was only focus. And when I started growing, there were so many other things I was looking out for. So it is very, very, important for a person to understand that the goal setting is a little not that easy, but then yes, as I told about the eagle story, by slow and steady, you can definitely focus on your goal and you can achieve your dreams. Write down your chores every single day. Write down what is that you want to do right in the morning, and then before hitting the bed, just take down whatever your chores were and how much you could complete. And one at a time, one at a time. Don't jump to, too many things at a time. So one thing at a time.
Yes, yes, that's absolutely, ma'am. I would really agree with what you have said. We need to have goals and waking up on. And I do have another question waiting for you. How does the skill development program solve real world problems?
The most important part of your life. But now I realize that the most things I got experienced out of my life was over the cup of coffee with my colleagues or with my friends. So it's all about communicating. It's all about how do you speak. It's all about learning something which is like available in and across us. It's not important that you log in and you have to go online, learn some courses, only then you learn. It's about your will to do certain things in life and your will to learn, to communicate, to relate to one another.
Yes, yes, that's actually true. That's actually true. I would like to correct it. And I do have another question. It takes 21 days to leave out an habit. It takes 21 days to learn a new skill. Is that a myth or is that practically been proven? How is that? I want an explanation from your side.
It's absolutely a myth. It doesn't take 21 days to probably get into any habit. I have to tell you this, you need to have determination to get into a habit. It can just be a day. I'll tell you what I have seen. I have counseled a lot of people who also drink, who also smoke. And, in that particular course, I had always encountered people or seen people who had just quit drinking in a day. And it did not take years together. It just took that one will to, quit that particular habit. And 21 days is not, it's just, so that you get into a routine. You just, as a, mental health advisor, anything that you get into a habit or a routine actually becomes a part of your life. And that's the reason people ask you to do it for 21 days. But it is actually more than 60 days is what you have to do it. It minimum takes 3 months to get into a habit.
Yes, 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 ma'am. I actually had this doubt from my personally. I really got it cleared right today. And you do have a
Okay.
question in chat box. Uh, you do have a
Uh-huh.
question. You do have a question from Ravi Sinha.
Let
Today we
me
should
just,
see the role of
okay.
counseling entrepreneurs, which is recovering from pandemic and
Mm-hmm.
restarting.
Uh, is this Ravi Hisana? Thank you for highlighting the belongings important post COVID on mental health advisory. Okay, I did not get the question. Can you please repeat it?
Uh, he's mentioning about the role of
Uh-huh.
counseling enterprises, which is recovering from pandemic and restarting.
Very important because what is happening is people have developed this particular concern with regards to what is going to happen across us, whether the businesses are going to really work or are they going to get stuck somewhere. I think counseling would help them understand that this is just a time and this shall too pass away.
That was a mesmerizing answer, and we learned a lot of new things from this session. Thank you so much for being
Thank
on
you.
Planet Tech Media House. It was so glad that you being on Planet Tech Media House. Thank you for ma'am.
I am honored to be a part of this particular show. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.